so excited today. Today we are celebrating Pie Day on my channel. Two of my favorite things, pies and math. I don't know which one I love more. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a lemon meringue pie. Now this was suggested by one of my viewers and I have not forgotten about you. I have been really trying different meringues, different fillings, and I wanted one that tastes amazing. Some of them had too much cornstarch or they tasted just not as lemony as I want. But I have found the recipe and perfected it, and I know you're gonna love it. So let's get started. We're gonna start with a pre-made pie dough today. I like meringue calendars. You can use whatever kind you want. Another day I'll show you how to make your own pie dough in a food processor. But today we're gonna use a pre-made one. You're gonna want to dock it, which means we're just putting holes in it so that it doesn't try to like get bubbles inside and it bakes more evenly. Then we're gonna line it with some foil. If you have pie weights, you could put them in here. I don't make these kind of pies very often. I usually make fruit ones like apples and berries. I'm going to go ahead and just use some beans and we're putting it down on top, and that's so that when you bake that the pie dough doesn't slide or it doesn't get air bubbles in it. We're going to put it into a 400-degree oven for about 17 minutes. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to be making an egg wash, which is just egg, and then we're going to add a little bit of water to it, probably about, I don't know, just a few tablespoons full. And then what we are going to do is once we hit about 3/4 of the way of your pie crust being done, we're going to actually egg wash the inside of this pie crust. I know you're thinking, why are you going to do that? Have you ever been to a diner and had a lemon meringue or maybe a coconut cream? And maybe it's been there just a little bit, or maybe it hasn't. But when you eat it, like the bottom part of the crust gets kind of gummy and mixed with the bottom layer, it's not good. So this is going to keep that from happening. So when you're done egg washing the inside of your pie crust, you're gonna pop it back into your oven for about, I don't know, 10 more minutes. Again, kind of egg wash it about 3/4 of the way through your instructions on your pie crust as to when it should be ready. We pulled it from the oven and we're gonna let it cool while I work on my filling. Okay, we're gonna start out with a pot on the burner. It is not turned on yet. We are going to do 1.5 cups of water. Remember, don't turn it on yet. We are going to do 1/2 cup of fresh lemon juice, and I did squeeze, I think it took me about 3 lemons or so. So 1/2 cup of lemon juice. Then we are going to do 1 cup of sugar. Then we are going to do 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then we're gonna do 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 2 tablespoons of flour. Now it is still cold and we are gonna go ahead and whisk this all together. So you are going to go ahead and whisk all of this together. Do not turn on the burner yet. And you wanna whisk it until it's all dissolved until you turn on that burner. I went ahead and separated 4 eggs. So this is gonna be 4 egg yolks, and I have my whites in another bowl because we are going to be using them for our meringue. And so here you have them all ready. You wanna start getting everything ready before we need it. You wanna get 2 tablespoons of butter ready because we're gonna need it here. Once it starts boiling, it's gonna go really fast. And then I'm gonna go ahead and take a lemon, and to give it that extra oomph, I'm gonna go ahead and zest it. And I do quite a bit of zest because I like that lemon taste in my lemon meringue pie. So I did go ahead and zest the entire lemon. You wanna try not to get into the white. This is like perfectly done. I'm not gonna lie, my husband stepped in and helped me for a second because he's better at this part than me. You just wanna make sure you get all your zest off and get it in there, okay? And now, because everything is ready and we're ready for the next part, we're gonna go ahead and turn on the heat. So you're gonna turn on your burner to about medium to a high heat, and you need to stir it. Do not leave this at all. You gotta continuously stir this part. And you got to wait till it comes to a complete boil until we get to next step. As it comes to a boil, it's gonna start getting thick It's gonna start getting glossy, and then we're gonna add in 2 tablespoons of butter. And then you wanna just continually stir it until it comes to a complete boil. This is what's thickening up our base of it. Now we're gonna stir, and you can do this by yourself, or if you have a friend or partner, that'd be great. That is our egg yolks with our lemon zest, and we're gonna slowly temper this. Now, you have to slowly pour that in at the same time that you are mixing, because if not, you're obviously gonna cook your eggs and you're gonna have to start this part all over again. So do it extremely slow and mix quickly so that it can incorporate quickly without cooking those egg yolks. This is probably one of the most important parts of making this pie. If you mess up this pie, you'll have to start the filling all over again. And you're gonna do 2 big scoops, probably, I don't know, about 3/4 to a cup of it into the other bowl to temper it. That's when we bring it up to the same temperature. And now we're gonna put it back into our pot. Again, you gotta stir because we do not want to make scrambled eggs. And if you have a friend, like I said, or a kid that can help with this part, that would be helpful. And then you just wanna stir, and we're gonna bring it back to a boil. Okay, so now that we have it all mixed together and is tempered, we don't have any eggs. If for some reason you do, you can always put this through a strainer after this part if you have just a little bit, okay? Sometimes accidents happen no matter how much you're whisking. So now we're going to bring all of this back up to a boil one more time. Okay, now it's starting to thicken up and it's boiling, and you wanna make sure you bring it to a boil, or this is not gonna set at the end and it'll just be a creamy mess, okay? So once it comes to boil, you're probably gonna let it boil for about a minute before we pour it into our pie crust. And you just wanna pour it into your pre-made pie crust. A big shout out to my husband, who on this day really did jump in and give me a hand with his pie. And I really appreciate you. As another little trick that my husband actually taught me, to make our meringue actually adhere to the pie, we're gonna put a little bit of saran wrap and we're gonna pull that off because it's gonna make a little skin. And we wanna pull that off at last minute when we put on our meringue so they can adhere together and your meringue doesn't slide. Okay, I'm gonna be using a stand mixer. If you don't have one, you can just use a handheld. We are gonna be taking our 4 egg whites, pouring them in. Remember, if you even get just a drop of yolk, redo it. It needs to be only the whites. Then we're just gonna turn our mixer on high and let it go. So once your eggs start getting a little frothy, it's gonna get to this point, then you're gonna slowly put in 6 tablespoons of sugar. Obviously this is sped up, but once you just slowly put them in and keep mixing. Now it's gonna get to the point of, it's gonna obviously start getting thick. And when you'll know it's ready is when you take off your beater and you pull up and your peaks still pull up and stay up. That's when you know that your meringue is ready to stay on your pie. Your meringue is gonna look super thick. Okay, so here it is with the saran wrap, and we're gonna go ahead and lift it, because if not, there would be a film on it and it wouldn't adhere. It's one of my little tips. Actually, my husband's little tip. So now we're just gonna take our meringue and put it on top of our pie. Before you start making it beautiful, this is what you need to know about this. Your meringue needs to spread evenly on top of the pie, and it needs to go across, all the way across your pie on all the edges. It needs, because if not, it's not gonna seal it and it could possibly move. So you wanna make sure that it is all the way out and it's all the way onto the crust. Okay, no yellow part, it needs to be on there, or it could possibly move once we're baking or once you are cutting it later. And it happens all the time. Went ahead and put it on a cooking tray. We're gonna put it into the oven, 350 for about 10 minutes. Here it is, looking gorgeous out of the oven, and I want to add a little bit more lemony zest to it. So I'm taking my zester and I'm just gonna put just a little bit of zest on top of this beautiful pie. You guys, I hope you try it. It is so, so good. And remember, if you want me to show you how to make something, I'll be happy to do so. And if I don't know, I'll ask my husband. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you make it, and I hope you enjoy your wonderful pie day. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.